And now, from the bowels of the internet, it's the Hate-Bit Podcast.
The Hate-Bit Podcast is on the air, episode 21, season 2, episode 3. How you doing? I am the mighty El Chaos. We got a great show for you today here on the Hate-Bit Podcast. With me, as always, the awe-inspiring Alpha Omega Sin.
Clam slamming.
Hey,
That's all.
The very moody but very rousing Razor Fist.
All right, let's tear the freshness seal off of this home douching kit, shall we?
And the sensational Sainted Magnus.
Since when have I been sensational? I'm the saint.
Just now.
Just now, okay.
Just now, yes. And you know, you're not going to believe this. We got ourselves a guest. I know you guys like it when we have a guest. And no, you can't be on this show. Well.
We choose you, like Pokemon.
Yeah, and you know, you have to buy certain boxes of Wheaties and so on. Anyway, we got a special guest for us today. You know, a fantastic guy. I'm a big fan of his work, and you know, I want to tell him that sincerely. And the only guy, the only individual on YouTube, as far as this video journalist is aware, to feature a live baby in a pickup game series, and just an overall great guy, our honorary Hate-Brit, AFR0BLU3.
Thank you! I would have brought tea and scones, but fuck it, it's too stereotypical.
No, I'd much rather have a beer myself.
No, we go for, with Sainted around, we generally go for Marmite, remember?
Yeah.
Marmite.
Marmite flavored wine, I've heard.
There's actually there is actually a wine distillery in Australia. Yes, Australian wine.
Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. I thought that we were going with pancakes and the sanded muffins.
Yeah, well,
So we're changing shit up now?
yeah, we're changing shit up. There's actually there is actually a family wine. I'm not giving you my last name unless you've on my Facebook, then you'll know. But there is actually a wine and a Shiraz.
You're gonna get stalked.
I know. But they've got to find a bottle of wine and send it to me.
That's fabulous.
Even though
And you know what? Hey.
Go on.
Nah,
You need it,
I got you.
because if our fans are to be believed, you're quite moody these days, Sainted.
I know.
I know. Do you want to address that, or do you want to just forge on with the show?
No, I just like to confirm what I think many of our fans have been suspecting. Sainted Magnus is, in fact, going through menopause.
It's the early stages, folks. So
It's true.
only-
The man is right now. He's more fallow than Egyptian farmland. That's true.
Okay, you Xbox fanboy.
See, he's.
Oh, come on!
I'm not a fanboy. Yeah,
Oh, you're just
It's too early. It's too early. It's too early for that shit already.
Oh, come on,
Anyway,
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Come on, let's fight. Come on.
okay.
Ding ding. Round
Has
one.
anyone got the gloves?
I don't need gloves. I use bats.
Don't be mad at me. You're just angry. I can still get a period. That's all that is.
And neither of you will be having sex with men anymore.
See,
best
this is
part
why
is that's all
Razor
the
Fist is still
introduction.
putting the eyeliner and everything on. He wants to attract a mate before he dries up.
Well, he's more crispier than me.
Well, we
Oh.
can't.
I like
well,
the ladies.
well, after-
I don't
well, it's-
need to dress up
we-
like a lady to get a lady. Thank you.
Well, we can't all dress like the year 1996 exploded all over us, buddy.
Well, you look like fucking 1986 has exploded.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a hot tip for you, Sunshine. The next time you want to listen to some Prodigy or some Korn, instead of downloading it or streaming it off Last.fm or, God forbid, actually purchasing the album with hard currency,
Well, I've actually liked the Prodigy, and if you buy
try.
both them, you are really, really digging into a big hole there,
I
my
got
friend.
it. Razor Fist looks like Motley Crue exploded over them, and I mean literally exploded all over his face.
here's what you should try. Try turning on the fucking radio.
Have you listened to what's on the radio over here?
I'm not saying your music taste is pedestrian, but it is wearing a fanny pack and drinking Gatorade. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And
You
you're,
now
you're
us
still
British
wear-
just need those things.
So
welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us here on the Hate-Bit Podcast. You'd never believe it. We're having a podcast right now. Isn't this amazing, the magic of the internet?
We know how good the internet is at the moment.
Anyway, well, calm down, take it easy. We got a big show here, so you guys just conserve your energy. Hater Nation, I want to tell you all about our brand new title card. You're going to see a beautiful graphic in front of you, which was actually done by AFR0BLU3. Isn't that true, AFR0BLU3?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Magnus was just like, hey, you do art and stuff, so draw us a title card. I was like, okay, give me about 5 minutes. And there we go.
And we still wait 3 days for people to actually send the pictures in.
Well, was it worth the wait, Sainted Magnus?
I'd say so.
All right. Now, AFR0BLU3, I got to ask you a question before we move on. Why does my logo look like the Biff and Puff and Zap from the old Batman show?
You kind of have that feel about you, like you're the...
Do I have that feel about me, that bombastic Piff and Puff and Zap vibe?
I feel like you could jump in and just bounce around any fucking room, just like, kapow, bitch.
I think it's because he shouts too much.
Yeah, you have a very big presence. It's like you need.
He has a very big head.
Effects.
What do you expect?
I know, man. I mean, do you know how much it costs for me to have those fucking horns made with a dome this size?
Oh, I'd
See,
guess around £250
anyway.
per horn.
Anyway, there's a whole bunch of doings, and we got a little time to get through it. So we're going to forego our usual discussion today because,
we have a lot.
We don't feel like it.
We have a lot of shit to talk about.
We don't feel like it. And we're going to go right into the Hate-Bit Cunt Bag. Now, if you have a question for the Hate-Bit Cunt Bag, or, a recommendation, or just a personal letter, or if you want to send me your credit card numbers, that's perfectly fine, too. You can drop them at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com.
Right, with those
nude photos.
Why is everything in the cunt bag stained red? Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's the male guy. We kind of shot him a couple of months ago. We still not put him out yet.
You are lazy, you know that?
Yeah, but it's not me that's the bin man.
That's true. So, but yeah, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please drop us a line. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/hatebit and a bunch of numbers and something. There's a link down below, so go ahead and check it out. We got a piece of mail here coming to us from... Now, we're going to do something a little bit different right now in the cunt bag. If you follow us on Facebook at all, there's a fan of ours who dropped us a special piece of fan art in a JPEG. His name is Jake Silva. And I'm going to leave it up there on the Facebook page. I want you to go and check this out. And for those of you that don't have it in front of you, I'm going to give you a little theater of the mind. For some reason, it's a picture of all of us if we were Muppets. And Sainted Magnus is being portrayed by Jeremy Irons. I'm being portrayed by Mr. Mole from The Wind in the Willows. Alpha Megasin is actually, in fact, a Muppet. And Razor Fist is being portrayed by Dale Gribble. And it's a fantastic piece of art, and I hope you check it out. It's damn good stuff. And make sure and like us on Facebook while you're there.
At least I got Jeremy Irons.
You see, when you said you were going to do something different with the cunt bag, I was like, what, is he going to change his lapping speed today?
Hey, I mean, I might. I think I have that option, don't you?
You have no options. You're under contract.
Shit.
Oh.
Damn. Oh, well.
I think the phrase is, she has options, you have the option of listening.
You're married, aren't you?
Oh.
Close enough.
Anyway, well, yeah, like you're the one that debuted the live baby, which means you're kind of stuck to her for some duration. Anyway, we got a piece of mail coming to us for the inbox at YouTube, and you can drop us a line here at YouTube. What?
What?
Oh, I thought someone said something. I beg your pardon.
We're waiting for you to finish.
I had a very sullied tone, didn't I? Anyway, let me see here.
We assure you, Yell Chaos is being treated for his schizophrenia, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man, you weren't supposed to tell people. But if you want to send me my Kickstarter on Get Yell Chaos Well, you... see, why can't I?
It's either that or your loose NES cards, so we can build a coffee table out of them.
Actually,
There
we
you go, could
do
be
need to start a Kickstarter cause, because what these guys would really love to do is to start a weekly podcast, but they need your money to do it. Now, they've already made a few episodes on their own, and they're clearly perfectly fine and capable in that sense, but they still need your money.
Yay!
We need better audio stuff.
No. We need money.
Yeah.
Yeah, for microphones.
We need money
and-
so we have something
and
comfy to
chips.
sit on.
We need money for chips and to go to Las Vegas and stuff. So
Well, you
please
already
send
went
us
to
your life
Vegas.
savings. please send us your credit card numbers at hate-bit-podcast@gmail.com. Anyway, we got a piece coming to us in the YouTube inbox from Cheese and Charlie, who drops us lines on a pretty regular basis.
Hello,
And-
Charlie.
Hello, Charlie. Charlie says, I hope you enjoyed your weekend as much as Razorfist did. Uh-oh. Wait, is this the guy that plagiarized you? Was this the
It
guy that did...
is.
Oh, son of a bitch. I've got good mind not to read this letter, but I think I will anyway. He says, I recently had a mildly heated debate with a friend of mine where we were discussing the concept of sequels. Aside from learning that she has her head so far up her ass she can see herself chew, I came to the conclusion that there is quite an interesting concept when it comes to sequels. You have the games that deserve a sequel and need one. Shenmue, games that deserve a sequel but don't need one. Deadly Premonition. And magic like that is hard to achieve more than once in a row. And then you have the games that don't deserve a sequel but do need one. Mass Effect, Call of Duty, etc. I would like to know all of your all's input on this. Rock out with your cocks out, chicks with dicks are twice the fun, and all that other rhyming stuff. Also, thank you for reading my previous question. That was Cheese and Charlie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't think that anything needs sequels ever.
I think we've got enough sequels as it is at the moment. There seems to be too many. Mass
I
Effect
think
being one of
everybody
them.
wants a discussion about do games need them versus actually having them. And I don't know. That really depends on its perception. I think
There are points where you're like, you know what, I would like some more of this pie, so long as they don't try to fuck too much with the formula in the second one, but there are other times, Assassin's Creed Revelations being an example I'm having right now, where you're just like, fuck this pie, I'm done. You know what, more of the same was okay, like, 2 games ago, I am fucking done.
Yeah, really, a sequel should be... what was I going to say? Yeah, it was supposed to be refining, not doing the same. That's what I see in a sequel. You know, a sequel's got to do what the original did, but a little bit better, or even more improved, or more refined, as I mentioned before.
Also, I've finally been able to go back and actually play the Mario games on hardware, which is a first to do properly, and you can actually see the progression. You've got, like, you know, Mario 1 just world to world, Mario 3, ooh, we're starting to have a map, and then, you know, world, you've got a few more things thrown in there, and yeah, that's a progression. Then you see shit like, again, Assassin's Creed, and it's just the same, or something lives so long that it turns into something it was never meant to be. Case in point, Dead Space fucking 3.
Yes. They could have ended that game there.
What do you mean, man? You didn't want a big freaking drill, right? Because that's what all the fans wanted, according to that gibbering fucking imbecile.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
you
want
guys asked for a big
fisting in our
freaking
Dead
drill?
Space.
Yeah, gameplay, horror, atmosphere. Fuck that noise. What I want is a big freaking drill.
That sounds like Bioshock too.
You know, originally when they said, how did you and Chaos enjoy your weekend, I thought we were going to have to sit you down and have the talk. Now you're talking about wanting a giant drilling. We are going to have to sit you down, aren't we?
Well, at least something aside from Jade Raymond's getting drilled. Anyway, continue.
That's not getting drilled. That's something completely different and a hell of a lot worse.
Right.
Is that true?
Well, that's Jim Sterling for you.
Oh, good enough, bald prick. Anyway,
I think he only drills for nougat.
And I think they'd have to go on top. I think if they weren't to go on top, that would end in a manslaughter case.
If he went on top, the fucking world would implode. Hello, I'm Jim Sterling, and this is what happens when the world ends.
And now we're going to get a bunch of messages.
Sterling, I'm the reason the Earth looks like a bowling ball.
And that's because I jumped 3 times.
Anyway, okay, we got another piece of mail coming to us. Or do we have enough to say about sequels? Can we move on?
Yeah, that's it.
Because sequels are crapola. Okay, our next piece of mail comes to us from, and this is a fucking ballsy question. I can't believe this fucking kid. It comes from Daniel Valdez, and Daniel Valdez says, "Hello guys, you rule and whatnot," which I can go along with, wouldn't you?
Okay.
See? He says, "I got a topic question though. American metal versus European metal. Go. The balls on this fucking kid.
Oh,
Thinks we're really going to strip this whole thing down just for him.
no,
but,
I'm not stripping it down.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to make a mockery of his question. Everyone, vote right now. Sainted Magnus, what say you? American metal or European metal?
I'm going to stick with the home territory European.
Okay, Afro Blue?
Most of the metal I've heard is American, so I have to go with that.
Okay, and then Razor Fist?
American.
Oh.
What?
Alpha Omega.
What?
Alpha Omega.
Oh, that is a toughie. I mean, because then I start breaking down the genres, and I have to break down what decade. I'll just go with European for now, because that's where I got most of my big starts.
There you go, Yo Chaos deciding vote.
That makes me the tiebreaker, doesn't it?
Yep, that makes you the
Unfortunately,
tiebreaker.
I'm going to have to side. I don't want to side with Razor Fist because he's making me be all nostalgic for San Francisco in the 1980s.
I must
go
say
with...
my vote comes entirely from inexperience. The only band I've seen live is Story of the Year, and I don't really think you can class them as metal, so...
Okay, wait. I need you to do something. Take cover because the fans will start throwing rocks in just a moment.
This
Here they
is
come.
true.
Or they're going to fill glass bottles with rocks, and then...
We're gonna have
Oh
to,
my
we're
God.
actually, it's okay. Sainted is building you a Pope mobile right now so you can leave your house safely. It's okay.
I don't know where they got pitchforks and torches so quickly.
Has anyone got the blowtorch? I need the blowtorch.
You need the
Well,
blowtorch immediately?
That escalated
Yes.
quickly.
Bring her around to my house after you
And as Danny DeVito in Batman Returns has told us all, somebody always brings tomatoes to a speech. Always.
Why is there always somebody that... That was the
Change
part of the whole
things up.
goddamn movie.
Take a carrot.
Yeah, that'll punch right through a fucking umbrella, won't it?
Why do nobody use fucking watermelons nowadays?
Because they're heavy.
Well, that's the whole point.
Because they're
I don't
too-
know. A pineapple is a good substitute.
See, if you're gonna throw things, I would throw like, Cornish game hens because you can still cook them after.
No, because all the fucking watermelons are being grafted onto the rib cages of all the female characters in Batman Arkham City. That's what they're doing.
Oh, you forgot Mortal Kombat characters as well. You know, they've got shares in the local watermelon populace.
How does Dead or Alive not get mentioned?
Oh, Dead or Alive, no, they've got rubber balls. Don't forget those
So,
boot
no
physics.
chaos. European or metal? European or American, even.
I had to side with European. I really did because I love American metal bands that stole what European metal bands did.
What? But hair metal and thrash. Come on.
Yeah, but let's face it. Thrash metal, much like the auto industry, seemed to have best flourished when taken offshores and reverse engineered.
What? Okay, but at the same time, it's the same deal. Like I think that is kind of the difference. Europe originated these genres, and then America perfected them. In my opinion, that's kind of what happened.
But I think the exchange has been going back and forth for years until now. Now
It's been going on for a while, but I really think European metal has stagnated. It's kind of settled into that power metal.
I think that has more to do with
Okay.
marketing than anything else.
It's settled into that Blind Guardian sound that everybody seems to want to have now, and that's getting really
that
fucking
American
old.
metal bands and I'm talking about guys of our age bracket. I'm sick and tired of thrash metal being referred to about a bunch of 55-year-old men who were still out touring and doing the Jägermeister Music Festival at 55 or 56 years old. I want there to be new blood, and that's what I'm very upset with that because at least the German thrash bands are still sounding thrash-like.
Then
with
you
the
and Mrs. Yell Chaos need to introduce us to a baby.
Well,
Bring in the new blood. Create
some
it.
cats only have babies in which to eat them. But yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Moving on.
that's all for the cunt bag. So if you have questions, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Now we got to talk about something. Was some announcements made. Sainted Magnus, what announcement was made?
Well, there was 3 Metal Gear Solid announcements made.
Oh my goodness Christ!
I know.
What about it?
Well, there was a release date for Revengeance. Sorry, I always laugh when I hear that name. Revengeance.
It sounds like a wrestling pay-per-view, doesn't it?
It does. Tonight on the WWE Revengeance. Yeah,
Well, the
it's just my-
Japanese and WWE are about as literate in English as each other, so
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Well, Americans have always bastardized our fucking language anyway, so fuck them.
Yeah,
Moving
some sort
on.
of trousers pants, guys.
Yeah, moving on. A Metal Gear Solid movie. Cue laughter.
Yeah.
Ha.
Well, I mean, come on.
Just
let's
cue-
let's
just
get
cue
the
up.
obvious. Let's get the obvious joke out of the way first. We've all already played Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay, now we
Exactly.
can continue.
Yeah, about
But,
12 hours of fucking cutscenes and voice monologues and.
Well, like
Yeah,
I said, I was
fuck
arguing with some
France.
guy. I was arguing with some guy on my channel the other day. My editor and I, we were playing through Metal Gear Solid 4 for the purposes of doing a review, like a while back. I wanted to do a review on it. Never did get around to it, but we actually sat there and we were just curious. We wanted to crunch some numbers. And like the game has the opening cutscene's like 45 minutes. The game has 12 chapters. Each chapter has a cutscene that's no shorter than 20 minutes and no longer than 40 minutes, and then the game ends with an hour-long cutscene. And
Yep.
the gameplay in between is rarely, if ever, longer than 20 minutes.
Yep.
So we calculated it up. It was 465 minutes of cutscenes and an optimistic 240 minutes of gameplay.
And you
Jesus.
still say you get out? You actually sat down and did that?
Well, it was relatively easy. I mean, it's obviously really.
I will go on record by saying Metal Gear Solid is one of my favourite games. Metal Gear Solid 4 is actually one of my least favourite Metal Gear Solid games. The best one for me is the first one and the third one. End of story.
Those are the two best.
And those are the 2 best ones,
Yeah.
right? So just going back to the movie, we don't want a movie that's got a movie theme to it, if you know what I mean, because that's all it is. And they've actually got what's his name, the guy who did the early Marvel films in the early 2000s, Avi Avrid or whatever he's fucking called. Somebody correct me.
Worked on sort of X-Men, the first Spider-Man trilogy, all that stuff. What was his bloody name?
It was Avi Avri or Avi Avrid.
Screw this, IMDb.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, regardless of who they pick, the fact is there's only one person who is ever going to be Solid Snake, and he's obviously too old to do that now, and that's Kurt fucking Russell. The end.
He could play Big Boss.
I wouldn't care who he played so long as he was a snake.
Yeah.
I could
Whether-
so see this going to like Christian Bale or something.
Oh,
like,
God, no.
That'd be awful.
No,
That'd be terrible.
No. It's like they cast Matt Wahlberg as fucking Max Payne. That was a fucking disaster in itself. So just going off.
He'll be in a duel with Revolver Ocelot and be like, "Are you trashing my fucking scene? Are you trashing?"
Walking through the middle of my set.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They've got to get, if they're going to do a movie for it, they've got to get it right with such colourful characters. You know, look at fucking well, you can't remember half of them because they're that forgettable. Unless they put Psycho Mantis in, which is possibly one of the best boss fights I have ever played on any system known to man. So, yeah, well, that's another point.
The only thing I worry about is that if they
my
do
problem.
Psycho Mantis in a movie, they will make him British.
Yes.
Here's my problem with that. A lot of the characters in Metal Gear Solid are caricatures. Now, obviously, I don't like Metal Gear Solid anyways, but a lot of these characters are one note, and they are caricatures. Solid Snake himself is a one-note caricature.
Well,
Fucking
let's all
odd-
remember
odd.
Snake Plissken escaped from New York. Solid Snake is already on film. He was based on this guy.
Exactly. Well, actually, no. Hideo Kojima said this past week that he was not based off of him.
No.
Bullshit.
come
So
on.
was. He so was. Look at Metal Gear Solid 2. What was his fucking
His call
pseudonym?
sign was Pliskin.
His call sign
Yeah.
was Pliskin.
And then you've got the hair, the eye patch.
Yeah, then you got...
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Now, speaking of eye patches, we've got... There's a new... Well, it's like a prequel to... or a prelude, as they've put it, or prologue, or whatever you want to fucking call it, to Metal Gear Solid 5, and that is Ground Zero, running on this new Fox engine that they've been toting for Revengeance as well. And to be fair, you know, you might not like Metal Gear Solid very much, but they've done a damn good job with that engine. You know, the water effects on it just look fantastic.
It's quite pretty.
Yes. And the game itself
What
looks pretty good.
The fuck is the fucking title? Ground Zeroes?
Ground
Plural?
Zeroes, yes.
I think
I
the
thought
only
all the
time you can
zero-
have zeros as a plural is if you're referring to a group of people.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought all
they're
the
a bunch of
zero-
zeros. That's the only
I thought all
ins-
the zeros were in Metal Gear's audience. But
Well, wait, you know, there could be multiple Ground Zeroes if you want to take into
No.
effect, you know, the multiverse theory.
no, honestly, you know, I think Ground Zeroes is just a reference to the 3 or 4 or so extra zeros that had to be nailed to the end of Hideo Kojima's paycheck to
Yeah.
ensure that he'd make a sequel to the game he swore up and goddamn down 3
That was
fucking
the last-
times.
For a
Never
moment,
made
I thought you were going to say that the Ground Zeroes referred to the collateral damage in the wake of Metal Gear Solid 4 and other entries into the series.
Yeah,
It's
well,
possible.
he said, well, he's gone on record saying that Metal Gear Solid 4 was meant to be the last Metal Gear Solid. Then he releases Portable Ops fucking... What else did he release?
Peace Walker.
The Peace Walker thing. And there's a
Hideo Kojima has been saying since Metal Gear 2 on the MSX, oh, this is my last Metal Gear game. I'm walking away from Metal Gear after this. Now he says that every single time. You just think, we'll see you in 2 years, buddy.
Yeah,
Yep,
just shut
definitely.
up. You know you're coming back.
Yeah. It's
Well,
like he just keeps coming back to the same crack house and his dealer's just like, so, same amount next week, same time, yeah?
Yeah.
So
I'm clocking off now. I'll be back in, 4 years' time to make another Metal Gear Solid.
okay, so Sainted, I'm gonna let you have the floor because you know I'm gonna bash the shit out of this.
Yes.
So you say what's good about it, so I can rip it a new asshole.
Well, let's just say this engine is what I'm more interested in than the actual game itself at the moment. Yeah, it's an open world game, so it's just going to be Grand Theft fucking Metal Gear Solid or whatever it is. Or as the line I came up with, Metal Gear Theft Auto. That's all it's going to be, basically, at the end of the day.
Metal Scrolls.
I don't
Yes.
know, with how they called the helicopter in at the end of that video, I'm now thinking more Just Cause 2. Like just Snake
See-
sailing out of a plane over a military base, like, fuck
That's
yeah!
what came to mind for me was Just Cause 2. But the one thing that I kept on thinking about a lot was I think this might be a combination of Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 3. Because if it's an open world, that means that we can have like in the jungle and in the forest scenes similar to Metal Gear 3. Then we can have like, you know, going through the like, you know, in the industrial areas and complexes and whatnot, like in Metal Gear 1. And if it's like that, I'd be extremely excited. I'm just hoping that's more, like, just from the little snippet of gameplay that we got, it was very sneaky, but keep in mind it was the very introduction, and all he did was get to go forward for a couple minutes, and then it ended. Granted, that was very gratifying and exciting, but that's all that we have to go off of thus far.
Did you
Yeah,
see
we
the
don't-
version where he doesn't get caught by the spotlight?
Yep,
I
two
actually
versions of the
haven't-
game.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of there's more than one gameplay video out there now.
Yeah, that's what
it's-
everybody was telling me. I literally haven't gotten a chance to get around to it. I only saw that one initial trailer, the one, like the initial release trailer. I saw that, and I was like, fuck yeah, and stuff like that.
Well, in the one where he doesn't get caught by the searchlight, he sort of shoots it. It's like a small rat or something, but it goes scurrying off. And if they're shooting at animals, maybe the whole eating things will come back.
Well, that
That was such a
act-
stupid mechanic, though. That was so retarded. There was no reason for that to be in the game. It was just they wanted to call the game Snake Eater, so they threw some fucking animal eating into the game. Look, I like Metal Gear Solid 3 from a mechanical standpoint, but there's so many stupid, quirky Kojima things in that game that just piss me the fuck off. Anyways, yeah, I need to relinquish the floor back to Sainted. I'm going to go off on a rant.
Oh, go for it. It's all right. No, it pretty much said what I needed to say anyway. It's a good game. If it comes out and I enjoy it, then I enjoy it. If it comes out and it's a pile of shit like some of the things I'm expecting from Revengeance, then I will openly admit it was a shit game. So there we go. That's all.
And we look forward to it with great delight. We know how even-handed you can be.
Yes.
Well, look, I don't like Metal Gear Solid. I don't think the footage looks that good. I think, moreover, I think the stealth mechanics of this series are just really, really thin. They make the fucking kiddie pool look deep and immersive. Yeah, hiding behind objects and breaking line of sight. 2 speeds, walk and run in the year 20 goddamn 12. And just take a wild guess which speed is quieter. Gorsh. And of course the camouflage system that functions as a glorified fucking invisibility cloak, which is classy. Which is always great for evening the playing field in a fucking stealth game. I don't like this series flat out. So,
well, you like your Splinter Cell, and granted, Splinter Cell is a very good series. I will only admit that
think it's more of a. I think it's more of a stealth game. I think it's just got more going on. There's more nuance to the way the sound system works and the light and the actual stealth. You have line of sight that you can break, but you also have light and shadow to take into account, how loud you're being, what material you're walking on. You don't have any of that in Metal Gear Solid. You have stand behind a box or get into cover with your fucking magical camouflage system.
But while you hate Kojima's flair, the reason I love Metal Gear Solid is because of Kojima's flair, and that's what Splinter Cell lacks for me.
Yeah,
that's because Splinter Cell is more realistic. Metal Gear Solid is so Japanese it fucking hurts. I mean, freaking Otacon, his call sign is short for Otaku Convention, and his little sister is like, "Do you like my Japanese lacquered chopsticks? They're all the rage in the world, and they're going to be..." Oh my god, the game just drives me up. And then the fucking vampire guy running on water, and what the fuck?
For someone who dislikes Metal Gear, you've clearly spent a hell of a lot of time with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's my feeling. If you can't play something, then you can't know that you hate it. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like, what do you want me to do? Just not play it and hate it? What the fuck?
If you're not playing, then we'll tell you to shut the fuck up. But other than that, you've played it, so we can't tell you to shut the fuck up.
So just in advance of all the hate mail I'm going to get now, listen to me loud and clear, fuckwits. Metal Gear Solid fans are the tumor on the testicle of the video game industry, and I'm just waiting for a big scalpel to Lance Armstrong that shit clean the fuck off. Yeah, blow it out.
Finish.
You know what? That was a very spirited conversation. I want you guys to know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of full-fledged abortions, you're not going to believe this, but Resident Evil 6 Polish copies, I understand, or was it Polish copies, Alpha Omegason?
It was.
It was PAL
were
region.
stolen, and now we're subsequently being sold on the black market, also known as eBay. And Alpha Omegason, what about it?
I love when people are just like the black market, and it is eBay. There is no black market anymore, folks. Go to Craigslist, Amazon, and eBay. The black market. Blackmarket.com. There we go.
When I heard this story, I was like, there's a black market for shitty fucking games? Aside from Origin, I mean. Like, yep, dig it, Origin. Had to be done. But seriously, like, what? I had no idea this even existed. But please continue.
The funny thing about it is, Capcom had responded to it, and they were like, we are looking into the matter to find out exactly how all these titles were taken and everything. And it's just funny because it makes me wonder, were they really stolen, or was it done on purpose to try to get, like, press for the game or whatever? Because, when thousands of copies of something just suddenly float away, that's definitely going to be a cause for alarm and go beyond the regular realms of video game news. But even regardless of that, the fucked up thing about it is these games are going for how much, hundreds and upwards of $1,000 on eBay?
The one example that I saw was one copy listed for as much as 1,196 euros.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so basically it's just like whenever people had gotten early copies of Modern Warfare 3, so to be the first kid on the block to be like, I played the game before everybody else. Yeah, good for you, because I'm sure a couple months down the road you aren't going to miss that fucking money. You're an idiot. But regardless, the main thing that everybody's actually making a big deal about, which is kind of funny, isn't that they were stolen and that, it's the fact that apparently, and mind you, I won't read into it heavily because I don't want to ruin anything for myself or for anybody listening, but apparently the ending is a fucking train wreck, and a lot of people are upset with it. I don't know why, because like I said, I'm not going to read into it to find out. No. If it's going to be a train wreck, I'll find out on my goddamn own if it's a train wreck. I'm not going to read on some fucking random news article or some fucking forums where people are posting and shit. So, yeah, Polish copies stolen. RE6, people has, paying lots of money for. Ugh, mad.
Well, I think when these things happen, people go in and get these early copies just because they can. They see it as some kind of goddamn status symbol. And what they don't realise as well is that playing games prior to release without having sort of some kind of press notification on your Xbox or PSN account can get you banned too.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
But there's just one thing I want to say about this whole fucking bullshit. What happened to people being patient and waiting for the product to come out? Yes, granted it's a shit product, but can't people just wait?
That's just it. I don't
No,
know.
people are fucking bored. We are absolutely marinated in electronic entertainment at all times.
Oh, no.
Which means that everyone gets what they want all the time, and now they're bored constantly. Like the assholes who subscribe to the Hate-Bit podcast simply to dislike the videos.
Yes.
It's
We know who you are.
He's got a point. I mean, Netflix, you just go on there, you don't have to own DVDs anymore, you just go, Netflix, I want to watch this show right this second, and if you don't suffer at a good speed, then fuck you.
I mean, well, this is the final frontier, guys. Okay, so Terrible, let me just give you the rundown. Terrible game gets made. Terrible demo for Terrible game is released. Game inadvertently leaks. Drooling fucking simpletons still somehow are willing to pay some leering shitbag a sum that could probably be mistaken for the gross domestic product of Canada so he can procure the game he already knows is bad. I mean, what is wrong with you fucking people? I want to beat you to death with your own Cheeto-caked neckbeards, you fucking simps. I hate these. It is so... You've played it. You know it's bad. What is wrong with you?
I sincerely hope
They thought
get
it might
a
be
lot
like
of joy.
Cheetah Men 2, even though it's bad.
Oh, you had to bring up Cheetah Man 2.
Oh.
I just sincerely hope that after all of that, all that money, all that effort to get it early, they turn around and say more than just, it's not Resident Evil.
Oh. But it's like back when Modern Warfare 3 came out. Yeah, shameless plug coming along for Alpha in his case. He did a video on it about, what was it, $10,000 for a fucking copy of Modern Warfare 3, and it wasn't even the Prestige Edition. Oh, fucking
yeah, and the more ironic part about it is the main reason why somebody plays Modern Warfare is to go online. Everybody and their fucking grandmothers knows this. Nobody plays it for its fucking epic storyline. It's one-player campaign. Give me a fucking break. They play it to go online, and when they got that copy of the game and went to go online, the servers aren't ready yet. So what happens? Your account gets banned.
They got the award-winning story, right, with the best ending in the history of modern games. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. According to Guinness, after they asked thousands of people or whatever, which I'm all assuming have IQs in the double digits and are all under the age of 14, what the best video game ending is. And it's all Modern Warfare, by the way, but apparently I'm mistaken. I do apologize, folks, all Hate-Bit listeners. Modern Warfare is played for its epic storytelling and everything, and I'm apparently a fucking retard and my head's upside down.
Because when it was Black Ops that got the best ending one.
It was Black Ops. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Whatever Call of Duty is out right at that moment, whatever their newest
exactly.
one is, that is the one that has the best ending because they're all fucking numbskulls. So, huzzah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been working for Activision, Alpha Omega Sin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I'm actually part of their marketing campaign, so...
Yeah.
It's been
Buy this because you're a numbskull. Now
That's actually the tagline for the next game.
that's how they sell Hostess products, you know.
Yeah.
Tagline for the next game. Do we even need to fucking say anything? Just buy it.
Yeah. Buy it. Why? You're stupid. Oh, that's right.
Buy it. Your friends will too. Oh, I got it then.
Oh god. And then they go the extra mile about on the Xbox 360, and it's like, yay, I've got it on the 360, and then Microsoft is shoving their money cock up my ass. Yay!
10 or 15 years ago, that would have never worked. They buy it. Your friends will buy it too. It's like, what friends?
No, that's
have
kind of
And you didn't have any fucking friends. The game was your friend.
it's kind of like modern gaming now.
No.
Let's play games together with our friends on split screen. Oh shit, I don't have any friends. They're all on Xbox Live on the other side of the country. No!
Or you get titles like Burnout that survived on being Arcadian, survived on having split screen, suddenly going, nope, we're going to be Need for Speed, and fuck split screen in the arse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but look at what's the new Need for Speed game. Oh, it's Most Wanted. Oh, it's Burnout on with real cars. Yay! Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Move.
So anyway,
Move.
how about Resident Evil 6? It was a piece of crap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. Just
But,
wait, just wait till Wikipedia gets the entire story on there, and we can all read it and laugh at it.
It may already be up.
Yeah, probably.
Probably already is. Probably already been finished.
Gang, go ahead and check it out after the podcast, though. Wait till after the podcast and then check that shit out.
Yeah,
And
sit back down. Don't go anywhere.
Don't
It's
touch
not
that
there
guy.
yet.
But, I got to tell you something. We're reaching the last third of the year, of the gaming year, and which means that the holiday season's coming up. A lot of big releases are on the horizon, or so they'd have us believe. And, well, I know, just settle down, because I know what you're thinking. And Sainted Magnus gets all giddy when we talk about this sort of thing. But we're right now going to give you the Hate-Bit Consumer Forecast. This is our very first consumer forecast, and we're going to talk about the games that we actually just might be interested in for the rest of the coming year. So to start it off, Sainted Magnus is going to tell us all about it because he just can't wait. So Sainted Magnus, what's in your forecast?
What's in my forecast? Right, next week, well, week after, sorry, Borderlands 2. Anybody? Silent Room.
Well, I'm going.
I don't give a fucking shit about.
We had Borderlands 1, and it was still in art school at the time, and I was going to co-op it with a friend of mine. The first session, he just ran off, did his own fucking thing, and started just doing all the missions without me. And then he just never wanted to sit down for the second session, so I never touched the game again after that.
Yeah. Well, there's that one for me. Razorfist will agree on this one. Well, behave yourself, fucking dirty cunt.
I know.
Next one, Razorfist is going to agree with me on this one. I know that because he's been blowing the trumpet for this one for a long time now, and that is Dishonored, which is out in October.
Absolutely.
That's one game I'm definitely looking forward to getting hold of. What other game was it?
You're not looking forward to the Mac release of Michael Jackson: The Experience?
No. I didn't. I wasn't even excited for the 3DS version, the Vita version, the PS3 version,
That's the killer app for the Vita.
Oh,
I was
I
waiting
know.
for Michael Jackson Experience, Macaulay Culkin edition.
God, I'm pretty sure that game was available on, like, the VTech Smile.
Just the same cover as Home Alone, the whole mouth open, hands against the face.
Yeah. There is one more game, and it's EA game, so bear with me on this one, and that is Medal of Honor Warfighter, mainly because I like the Medal of Honor series, and I have done since the first game, so...
Yeah.
It's not Call of Duty, that's the important thing. Moving on. Razorfist, your turn.
Okay, well, obviously I'm going to echo your Borderlands. Or, not Borderlands, but Dishonored, sorry. Because Dishonored looks fucking amazing. And, yeah. I'm also planning on playing, I don't know if I'm actually going to buy it, but I know I'm definitely going to play it to review it, Assassin's Creed 3. And in all likelihood, the new Dead or Alive that's coming out sometime this month. I think it's coming out on the 25th.
Yeah.
Something like that. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's very little else that's... Oh, right, I have to play Hitman Absolution for a fucking review, if nothing else, but it looks terrible. It looks absolutely abominable.
Yeah, we'll take the piss out you accordingly, don't you worry.
It's around 2013 now.
And at some point, I know it's dated for later in the year, Hawken. It's a mech
Okay.
game.
Yeah, that's an online mech game for the PC.
Yeah, it's coming out in December. I think I'm not sure if it'll be pushed back, but the working street date is the 12th of December.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. It looks fucking great. I've always loved mech games. I'm glad to see they're kind of making a comeback because you got Mech Warrior Online and Hawken and the new Armored Core, and there's actually some mech games for the first time in like 10 fucking years. It's retarded.
Well,
So-
I've got a whole library list of bloody Armored Core games, so I'm totally in your camp with that one.
Yeah.
I still need to play Armored Core 5 actually, and I probably will update my PC to play Hawking because it just looks. The whole idea of it looks pretty cool, and the whole storyline behind it, and they've actually written.
Oh, and then isn't Hideo Kojima making a new mech game? He also announced the new Zone of the Enders, but there's another one that Hideo Kojima was supposedly involved with that I can't remember the name of. Anyways, there's a
something-
bunch of mech games on the that are coming to the market or that are on the market. I'm just really pleased with that. So
Yeah,
The last one we saw was, Front Mission Evolved, I think?
Oh
It's
God,
been
no!
that long.
that was the one. Yeah, that was,
Yeah, I was
that
going to
was
say, don't mention that. That thing is
That's
depressing.
terrible. I bought that. I bought that without looking into the press about it, and to be fair, I should have just watched a gameplay or a review of it because that game is fucking atrocious. One of Square Enix's finer moments, I must admit. It was terrible. It was. I still have nightmares playing that game.
Okay, so let's throw it to Yell Chaos. What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? You know, there's some games on the horizon, and you know, I'm a Nintendo guy, and all the Nintendo games, they keep, you know, baiting in front of me, and they keep pushing it back and keep pushing it back. So there's games I'm looking forward to. I just don't think I'm ever going to see them. However, isn't it amazing how many games are just like, well, it was going to come out then. No, we changed our minds. Somebody fell down, and so we had to push it back 6 months.
It's because as long as Shigeru Miyamoto is worth... What the fuck was that? Last year they released his worth. It was like $40 million. And apparently a decent haircut is $41 million, by the way.
No. He goes to the barber college that's run by Pete Rose.
Oh God, that's.
But, anyway, you know, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I'm actually still excited for the Nintendo Wii U. And, you know, you're thinking, well, what, are you out of your fucking mind? And as a matter of fact, yes, I am.
Yes,
because,
you are.
and you know, Saint and Magnus and I were having a discussion earlier in the week about this, and I think he remembers. And one thing that I want to know, that I'm going to round up, you know, my feelings about what I'm looking forward to, is I don't know if Nintendo knows that they're releasing a console anytime soon.
No, they've been thinking about it
So,
for two
yeah.
fucking.
So if they do, in fact, release a console around Christmas time, I'll probably get that.
Yeah, well, don't forget we've got the 13th of September, which is what, next Friday.
Yeah, and they're going to push
next
that back.
Thursday, and they're going to give us.
I grew up beard waiting on these assholes to release this thing.
Where is the press coverage for it, though? There has been nothing.
Well,
No.
there's been
Zero.
nothing since E3, and
Well, did you
Like,
guys,
I don't know if they know that.
minimal, and even that's
Yeah.
minimal at best.
But I don't know if they know if you're supposed to tell people if you're going to sell something.
Yeah, I would have thought.
So,
Might be an idea. They can start putting some money aside.
yeah, yeah, you might want to, you know, take it easy for a minute. Anyway, Alpha Omega Sin, what's in your forecast?
I have a bunch of random crap. Let's see. Borderlands 2, Saina had mentioned that. I'm pretty excited about that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to pick up the super duper limited loot chest edition version, but I'm just
sure-
going to get the regular game version.
I'm
So-
sure I'll do an unboxing and rub it in.
Dude, you should. I mean, that thing's fucking... It's massive. It is really cool. Like, if anybody's listening to us, if you haven't seen it, just check it out. As far as limited editions go, that thing is just filled to the brim and overflowing with stuff. It's very cool.
It's like a fucking footlocker. It's huge. It's like, what, meter and a half long? It's huge.
Yeah, and it's an actual metal case.
I know.
Like, you know, everybody gets excited about having, like, a metal DVD case for their games. Well, imagine, like, an entire metal box to include all of your bullshit in. So it's pretty cool. But no, other than that, I don't know the release date about this, but I was just reading about it recently, so I'll include it anyway, regardless of its release date. It's Yakuza 5. I don't know when it's coming out. I just want to play the game because I like all the games in the series. Resident Evil 6, even though everybody it has super bad feelings about it. I gotta play it before I can go and judge it, just like I did with RE5. I'm hoping for the best. That's all I can say is if it's worse than 5, then goddamn. Dishonored, Razor Fist and Sainted both had mentioned that. It does look really fucking cool. Like, every time I saw more gameplay footage of it, I want to play it more. I like sneaking about. It's much better than the fucking truckloads of games where you just go in with, like, 2 rocket launchers, machine guns, pistols, and fucking grenades and kill everything in sight mindlessly.
You're forgetting the 2-weapon limit that every game has had for the past 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I did forget about that. I guess I'd have to drop the machine gun and then pick up another large weapon to then go and do it because, it's a video game and you can't just be like Duke Nukem and pick up all the weapons and kill everything. That's
what's great about Dishonored, though, is the stealth is just one element of it. You can be more aggressive, and it's more like BioShock kind of fucked Assassin's Creed and Thief sort of a thing.
I like the fact that instead of it's like, here's a vast array of weapons, here's a bunch of skills that you can go and figure out how do you want to go about doing this mission.
Yeah. Instead
of just a bunch of weapons. And that's something I appreciate. And it's not, just cheesy bullshit. It's all pretty interesting looking. And, I also dig the art style. It actually kind of reminds me of Borderlands in a way. And the upcoming BioShock Infinite, where it goes with it's not realistic, but it's still very detailed, and it's kind of cartoonish looking. I don't know, but it looks pretty neat.
Fable.
Yeah, actually, that's a good example. I don't know, it's weird, but it looks really nice. Just in general, I'm excited about that. And the last one is Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Now, that release date I'm confused about because I heard that it's going to be in December, then I heard it's going to be in January, and I don't really know, but either way, being a big platforming fan that I am, I was just excited to see that the series was coming back, and I have my sights set on it. So,
just the fact that another stealth game is going to be released is a fucking miracle.
You know what I mean? Yeah, especially in this day and era, and it's like, oh, you don't have tacked on fucking generic multiplayer for the sake of having tacked on generic multiplayer to compete? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll say this. Obviously I give Sony lots of shit, but I do like Sly Cooper, and it's one of the feathers in the cap of their exclusive library, without question. It's a pretty good game.
It's so rare.
They're all really good.
I mean,
there is one game I want to add to that mix. You're gonna laugh. Super Smash Brothers Sony mix. I actually want to get that because
you're gonna play All Stars.
I'm gonna play All Stars because I'm going to look at it objectively. If I don't like it, then I can just give it to some pub.
I hope you objectively get it for fucking free.
Okay, here. I have a good reason not to play it. It has the new Dante in it. There you go. It's already riddled with AIDS. Fun.
Not to mention cancer.
Oh, and you know what? Here, there's one last title I want to put on the list, but then I found out that it got pushed back. Despite it having a silly-ass name, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Revengeance! The new upcoming WWE pay-per-view. But, yeah, that game, regardless of what anybody has said about it, I am a very, very big fan of the developers, and they're just going absolutely apeshit with it and doing their own thing with it, which I appreciate because, honestly, it didn't look that fucking interesting before they started taking over and doing what they wanted with it. So, very over-the-top, tons of just... It's just pure insanity. But,
it just
yeah,
looks like Ninja. It looks like Ninja Gaiden, doesn't it, or Ninja Blade, or something like that.
No, don't say Ninja for the fuck of.
It's the same fucking.
Ninja Blade, whatever. Don't say that.
Yeah, Ninja Blade.
Ninja Blade is a good comparison actually because you fight these giant robots, and it's actually more apt a descriptor because Ninja Gaiden is generally you're fighting more humans than anything else.
Well,
have you played the demo? Have you played the demo? There's a fucking big spider you fight on it.
See, the main thing that I'm comparing the new Metal Gear Rising Revengeance to is Bayonetta, because that was like one of the last things that they worked on, and I looked at that, and granted, it's like, okay, well, you're a big titty chick with music that definitely isn't all that fucking cool, and then this, okay, they're very contrasting, but as far as gameplay is concerned, that's the main thing that I was looking at, and that's what it reminded me of, and that's what made me happy. I mean, these are Devil May Cry guys and Bayonetta, so fucking A, I'll definitely be checking.
The only
We'll give
thing
them
I
benefit of the
was
doubt.
wondering was, initially, because it was, Metal Gear, you figured it would have some kind of a stealth element at all, but it doesn't.
See, that's the thing. Originally, they were going with it, but as odd as it sounds, I'm glad that they aren't at all, because this can make it stand on its own and make it into its own series. I mean, we already have...
I was really looking forward to maybe, like... Because have you ever played, like, the more recent Tenchu games? Where you can do all these crazy moves, like you can cling to ceilings, and you can run on the ceiling, and you can like run on walls and all kinds of shit like that. I was looking forward to Rising using the kind of cyborg aspect of Raiden to make some really cool stealth stuff that you couldn't do in any other game because it would be completely unrealistic. So you could like cling to ceilings or fucking... I mean, that would have been really fucking badass.
I mean, that aspect would be cool. I mean, admittedly, because, I mean, like I said, I do like all of my fucking sneak about games, but whenever they announced this, I was already iffy about it, because I truly detested Raiden in every single aspect, facet, form, everything. But then they took over and just made him into a monster. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. He's now just a psychopath with a sword. And now you're making him a psychopath that's, like, really overpowered. I mean, shredding people to pieces. And, the fact that as the Metal Gear name, you come to expect, okay, you're going to be sneaking about your missions and everything. But this, literally, the only way I can view it as, it's kind of cool that they're just trying to make it stand on its own as, like, its own thing. Whether or not it's going to do well remains to be seen. But, I mean, fuck, look at Metal Gear Acid. Nothing like the Metal Gear games, really, but still good in its own right. So
It's a card battle.
It'd be interesting just to see it finish being in development hell and actually...
Yeah, dude, I felt bad about that, because I was just like, wow, is this really going to be released, or is this just going to go and lay at a fucking wayside?
Well, it's because he let the studio do whatever they wanted initially. You heard that whole story, right?
Yeah.
Kojima originally was like, okay, you guys do whatever you want. I trust you to make a great game. And then he came back and he was like, this game really sucks. We need to start over from scratch. So they had to make it twice, kind of like the last Splinter Cell game, and the end result there was not so great. But
although that original bit was like his internal team, his own guys, it was like, okay, you should have learnt well enough by now, so Papa's just going to step outside for a bit for a cigarette, and when Daddy comes back, he expects to see a game he can be proud of. And he just came back in and was like, fuck it, we're outsourcing this. You clearly haven't learned anything from me.
yeah.
So
anyways, what about you, AFR0BLU? What are you looking forward to?
I'm very surprised no one's mentioned Tekken Tag Tournament 2 yet.
No, Tekken's died, in my opinion.
I don't know. I used to love...
After 6 and Street Fighter X Tekken.
But
See?
the thing is, Street Fighter X Tekken, they're more trying to bend Tekken characters to the Street Fighter style, which doesn't work so much. And Tag Tournament 1 was one of the better entries in the series, especially the bowling, because you just pick like a team of jacks, and suddenly whoever you're against would realize that they get fucking aim assists because they're robots, and just go apeshit at you. Like, it's fucking telling you how to bowl. I'm like, yep, sure is. I think Tag Tournament 2 just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. It's not taking itself seriously. It's not trying to be some kind of canonical, ooh, what's going on in the Mishima family now? It's just, here's a bunch of guys from the series, fight, play weird minigames, do as you please.
Yeah, I still remember the first one being one of the only games I gave a fuck about when PS2 launched.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, and when I saw it, I was just like, dude, PS2 is a fucking beast of a machine, like, graphically. Yeah, I had seen it, and even when they released Tekken 4, it was funny because one of the major big deals everybody was making was, this is supposed to be the big sequel, yet this has less polygons and looks a lot less nicer than Tekken Tag Tournament, which came out how many years before? So I always thought that was kind of amusing.
Yeah,
Five looked really good, though. They put some polish on them.
Yeah, 5 was a good
Oh, yeah. 5 was a very good game, especially... Well, here's the thing. If they went even more downhill after 4, I'd be fucking amazed and borderline impressed and depressed. So.
Well, they certainly managed to do it on 6.
Oh, 6 is a depression.
It is an abomination. I was so pissed when I played that. I was really looking forward to Tekken 6. I didn't have the least bit of cynicism about it. I thought this is going to be fantastic. Oh, man, it was such a shame. They did the same thing with Tekken that they did earlier in the year with Soul Calibur 4, and that they're continuing to do with both series, sadly. But anyway,
was that the game to get good again?
Tell me, Razor Fist, was that the game that did it? Was that the game that broke you and made you into the man you are today?
Soul Calibur 4 was one of the bricks in the wall, I'm afraid.
Oh. But which one was the nail in the coffin?
Oh, God. Dragon Age 2.
We appreciate your honesty. Anyway, that was a long talk about the forecast. We'll be bringing more of that to you as the rest of the year progresses because, we could be changing our mind because, frankly, you know who changes their mind as well. So, but we got the big holiday season.
Did AFR0BLU, did you have anything else besides Tekken?
Yeah, probably the Sega fanboy in me will probably get the re-releases of Jet Set Radio and Sonic Adventure 2, just because. And then, yeah, it's like an addiction or some kind of very horrible, aggressive disease when you're a Sega fanboy. You just you're just like, you know what, I'm not even going to look at what you're offering, just take the fucking wallet. Whether that'll extend to Sonic Racing 2, I don't know, but Halo...
Oh boy.
No, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, or as I like to call it, Mario Kart 7 Sega Edition.
I was going more for Diddy Kong Racing Sega Edition, because I actually had the planes and boats already.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but Halo is a tradition as well, so that'll probably get picked up, and looks like Hitman is this year, November. I could have sworn that was 2013, so Hitman, probably.
Well, that's great. And for those of you listening, if you are looking forward to any games at all, please drop us a line down below in the comment section. Let us know what you're looking forward to. Anyway, we're way overdue for halftime, so it's time to go into the mailbag, the ball bag for halftime. And I'm going to read a few letters. Like I said earlier in the podcast, if you have a question, comment, a concern, anything like that for the Hate-Bit Podcast, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Anyway, this first piece of mail comes to us from Albert Carter, stonyrez@gmail.com, and he says, hey now. He says, what up, guys? I have a comic book question that I think I asked before, but I wanted to see if I could get your opinions on about it. I was showing my son and daughter my comic collection from the early 1990s, all Image comics because I never got into DC or Marvel too much. My question is, will Hollywood ever consider making any movie from the plethora of Image superheroes like Deadblow, Stormwatch, Wildcats, Max, or even a Christopher Nolan Spawn reboot? Thanks, guys. Now, I gotta ask you, Albert, do you really want Hollywood to come within a country mile of any of those properties? Because I know I don't. I saw what they did with Spawn.
Look what they did with Spawn.
I mean, have you figured out that John Leguizamo does not work?
Oh,
The other issue
Mario
as
Brothers.
well, not only would they fuck up a movie of any of those titles, but whenever you have a movie come out around a comic property, the comics around that release date tend to make changes to gravitate more towards the movie universe so that they can catch some of the moviegoers on the comic series.
Yeah, the Batman was absolutely guilty of that around the time The Dark Knight was released, and they're kind of guilty of it now that The Dark Knight Rises has been released as well. But with Joker being changed physically, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
How suddenly
issue 13 onwards with Snyder.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm mostly opposed because of the conversations that will ensue. I cannot believe how often I hear comic book fans talk about comic book movies and how they were unrealistic. Like, are you fucking paying attention to what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you had comic and unrealistic in the same sentence of your complaint. That does not make it valid.
Well, Alpha, okay, you're another comic collector. Do you have much Image shit?
I have a small amount. I really don't have a whole shit ton just because my brother actually was the big Image guy of us two. So if I ever need anything, I just delve into the random comic boxes that he has because he has a plethora of stuff, even more so than me.
Yeah.
I
I just flat out think right now would be a terrible time to do it because nothing is less popular right now than early 90s comics.
Yeah.
People don't like the art style. People don't like the storytelling style. It was really over the top. It was really indulgent. hasn't aged well at all.
No.
So
And what's funny is you could easily mention the two art style, or that art style, in congruently with Beavis and Butthead's art style. It just feels so 1990s.
It's very 90s. It's just you got that Rob Liefeld. People don't have feet. Their biceps are twice the size of their head.
They don't have necks whatsoever. They just have lots of random lines connecting to their shoulder.
There's so many lines on their face. There's just lines.
Yeah, a lot of them you look at it, it's like, are you going to finish this sometime soon?
Well, here's
I
one
used to
main
look at
thing.
a lot of those characters and think, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were a burn victim.
Everybody was related to Spawn in that universe.
And apparently these guys think that the one attribute that guys want to see in a hot woman is a waist that would snap in half if a strong breeze went by, and a spine that curves like a Z with these giant deer legs poking out. Like, if you look at any of these chicks, and then, of course, Z-cup breasts grafted to their, stomach.
Sure.
It just would not be practical. If there ever was a woman like that, it would just be impractical to actually do anything with them.
Well, you look at it, it's an hourglass figure, if in fact an hourglass was never designed to let sand pass between the 2 points.
But that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. I really think they would make bad movies, and I also think, more to the point, they just wouldn't sell at the box office because they're not popular.
I think for me, the popular Image comics, Max and Spawn, would not do well. But if you delved into some of the Image crap, and you know what I'm talking about, like Priest,
Savage Dragon.
Yeah, and all that stuff. If you made a movie out of that, I'll bet you that would be a blockbuster. With this fucking culture, it would overnight.
The only way that they would make half decent movies is if they were rated R, and on top of that, Image just isn't that popular to most people. They'd just be confused as to what the fuck it is. So then people would have to go online and do research, and people are lazy. So doing research isn't worth their time. They go with, the heavy hitters and the big hitters that they're well versed in, and if they can't do that, then companies like DC and Marvel will go and make, for example, the Avengers. We'll include characters in that because you're already well-versed in something like Iron Man and the Hulk and everything. Okay, let's put in Black Widow. All right, you didn't know who she was. Now you do. Also, her ass. There you go. Now you're well-acquainted, right? Cool.
I'll tell you one.
Does it make you sick whenever the movies come out and then you step into a comic book store about 2 weeks later and people are talking about the movie storyline as if it was the official comic canon? 1989, how many guys probably walked into a store to hear, oh yeah, the Joker, he was the murderer of Batman's parents, was he? And you
oh
just
my
say,
god,
like,
every time I heard that, I wanted to fucking stab somebody every time I heard it. I'm like,
Which
you
is
do
funny, 'cause
realize
I
that
actually-
the Joker and Bruce Wayne are like the same age. That's not even fucking possible. Like,
and every
So
time
anyway,
a comic book movie comes
I
out.
do think one comic property, but it's not from the 90s, would be really good for like an Image property. It was just one graphic novel. It's done by Brian Michael Bendis, and it was called Torso. It was like a graphic novel about the Cleveland Torso serial murders in the 1930s, and it was just like a murder mystery. And for years, they've been talking about film rights for this fucking thing. It's gone back and forth and back and forth. Will it be made? Won't it be made? And apparently the thing was ultimately canceled or something. But that fucking movie needs to be made because it would make money at the box office. It's a classic, kiss the girls kind of fucking, one of those murder mysteries. But it would do well, I think. But it's not 90s. That's the thing. That's the exception that proves the rule that we're making here about Image Comics, unfortunately.
I was going to say, you know what? There is one that if they had the budget to do it, even without prior knowledge to the comic series for most people, and that's something I got into reading recently, and that's Witch Doctor. If anybody even remotely knows what it is, please comment. That would be fucking awesome, because I swear I feel like the only person who's ever read it. But,
okay, I'll throw this one out there. A cartoon of elephant men, I think would be awesome. I think that would be really good, actually. But it would have to be done like heavy metal film style, you know what I mean? But That would be good, I think. But anyways, we should probably move on.
Yeah, well, just want to throw this one out there. What about some more Vertigo comic films?
Yeah, well, a few of those have done... I mean, wasn't From Hell Vertigo? Or was that Image? I think it might have been Image. It's possible. I don't
Honestly,
remember.
I don't even remember. I just saw From Hell day before yesterday when I was out, too. I actually forget.
Yeah, I forget which company published From Hell. But, they've done a few things. I know they were trying to, or it's supposedly in development, another Swamp Thing movie.
Oh.
Honestly, it wouldn't be that surprising if they did it because the comic run that they had since the new DC 52 one is fucking fantastic, and on top of that, it's actually selling well, and it's still selling pretty well. So that's not too far off. I don't know. I would go see it.
Oh, well, what the hell do I know? The fact remains, Hollywood at this point could fuck up a cup of coffee. So I don't even know what we're discussing.
They fuck up everything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They do. So, he's like, I want to see a horrible movie. Well, then may I recommend Metal Gear Solid 4. And
Oh!
Hi-yo.
Heyo! Anyway, we got more mail. We're all just getting mad about everyone just, woo, the Joker and Batman are the same age, woo! But, anyway, we got another piece of mail here coming to us at the YouTube inbox, and we thank you for dropping your lines in the YouTube inbox. It comes from AL Justice Zero, who drops lines with us on a regular basis, and he says, we had a rousing conversation on one of Silent Rob's latest live streams about Jesus and hell, and I've decided that you four, possibly five if you have a guest this episode, are going to hell.
Oh, good.
And that's all he says, so we thank you, AL Justice.
Well, I'd like to say, thank you very much. Fuck you.
Whatever. It's where all the good
whatever.
music is.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that's where all the sofas are going to be too, goddammit.
I have a few issues about when anyone says you're going to go to hell. Number one, I'm going to hell by default if it exists for not believing in any god or deity or anything like that. Number two, it's where all my friends and family are going to, so fuck it, I want to hang with them. And third, I think the whole concept of hell is a bit out there. So Satan, if he exists, is supposed to be a fallen angel, who then is willing to work for the guy who pissed him off by punishing all the bad people, even though the bad people are going to outnumber the good people. And if he wanted to build an army of despicable rapists, murderers, etc., there it fucking is. He would be training you, not punishing you.
Yep. But I just want to say this.
We welcome you to the 700 Club, and we thank you.
I would actually like to get my fucking point across at some point in this fucking...
Well, then why are you on the 700 Club?
I don't want the 700 Club. I don't give a shit about the 700 Club.
Oh, well then please, continue.
I just wanted to say that, the difference between heaven and hell is what you fucking make it. There you go. That's it.
That totally works out like the difference between peanut butter and jelly, right?
The fuck was that? A Sublime lyric? The fuck?
I can see the upside to having my spleen consistently ripped out on a regular basis.
That could just be some sick, twisted guy's imagination. How do you know that? How would you know? If you want to find out, take the proverbial gun to your head and blow your fucking brains.
All I know is I'm hoping and praying it's got the ironic punishment division from The Simpsons, where he's being fed the donuts.
So you like donuts, do ya?
Yes. So you like metal music, do ya?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
The eternal mosh pit.
There you go.
Listen to Bathory for all eternity. And everything went better than expected.
No. The ironic division would be, when they make you listen to Anvil for all eternity.
Oh, Christ.
See? It hurts, doesn't it? Anyway, we got another piece of mail coming to us at the YouTube inbox from Manic Maniac, who drops lines with us on a regular basis. Drops lines with us on a regular basis and snorts them. Why not? And he says, hey, Hate-Bit Podcast.
Hey.
He says, I got a question that's been bugging me for a while, and if you're wondering why I'm answering this guy's question or reading it on the air, is because we've been getting this question over and over and over and over and over again, and I didn't want to answer it, and finally, we're going to talk about this, if only for just a minute. He says, I know you hate the mainstream crap of today with the pop, hip-hop, and whatever shit the media will sell, but I just got to know, are there any hip-hop and or rap rock bands or artists you do like?
Delete, 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 delete.
You want to delete that one?
Delete, delete,
No, I'll come right out and say it. There's one or two.
delete.
See, Saint Magnus is going to edit this, so he's going to be cutting and pasting. But yes, and I'll leave it at that. No,
Is this
Anthrax
your new
will-
shameless plug, Sainted?
I think so.
I think
I'll bet you it
So-
is. Is that your new catchphrase over there, Sainted Magnus?
I like, okay, for the record, I like some rap from the 80s and early 90s. I like Public Enemy. I like Digital Underground. I like stuff like that. But anything after about 1995, rap really went to shit, and it's sort of
And have been ever since.
it's
Rap
sort of
sold out.
lingered there ever since, really.
I'm
So-
going to show how musically uneducated and British I am with this one. The only real thing that classifies as rap that I like is Jump Around.
Yeah, I don't know that's even that's more on the hip hop vein, I guess. Whatever, it's the same thing.
Yeah, if it's got white guys in it, it's kind of questionable.
No, I like metal. I don't like rap. And when Fred Durst decided to put them together, it was kind of like, yeah, you just kind of confirmed
Okay,
why I
wait a
hate
minute,
rap.
wait a minute. That's like
Well,
that's like
wait a minute, you like Korn? Didn't they do the rap rock thing too?
Yeah, they did, but then that didn't work.
Dubstep.
Yes, I know. I
blaming Fred Durst for this.
can I defend myself for 1 minute
Please.
before that fucking
wait,
80s
defend it.
reject starts fucking trying to jump in my ass and say, "Oh yeah, you hate this. You
We're
hate."
going to go around your
I hate this.
house
I
and
hate
find
that.
the Jay-Z Linkin Park album now, aren't we?
No, well, come to my house. Try and find my Jay-Z and Linkin Park CD. It's not mine. I don't have it. No, I don't like the Jay-Z and Linkin Park album. I don't even like Jay-Z. I don't even like Stinking Park. So, what can I say? And
Me and my friends
in,
call
term,
them Lincoln Log.
in terms of Korn and going dubstep. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I stopped following Korn when they decided to go into the whole dubstep side of things. So, I'm just going to stick with post Untouchables stuff for me. That's it.
And we appreciate your candor. Anyway, that's enough of that shit. That's enough of mail for one goddamn day. We appreciate you dropping us a line at, hatebitpodcast@gmail.com, at the YouTube inbox, and at Facebook. We really appreciate it. It's time to move on. Hater Nation, you're not going to believe this, and Razorfist, you could see, if you could see him like I see him right now, he's just frothing once again, because you're not going to believe this. Valve, Valve, they claim to be 6 people. They're venturing into the hardware business. Apparently they've never heard of Razorfist, tell us all about this glorious endeavor.
All right.
I think I'm officially...
All I have to say is, like, way to strike while the iron is frozen stiff, Valve. You know what I mean? Like, guys, I recognize the Valve has... Like, they've classically had kind of a Midas touch. You know what I mean? Like, everything they touch just turns to gold, which has got to suck when it's time to play with yourself. If you don't believe me, just ask Sainted.
yeah, you'd know if you were looking.
Gold member.
But I really think Gabe Newell is about to experience some, are you ready for this? Valve prolapse. Bam!
Bam!
You really, seriously, you could not pick a worse time to get into the hardware market than right now.
Well,
I honestly, I don't see it happen. I mean, any other white hot markets you fellas would like to hop into head first? Like real estate, maybe? You know what I mean?
How about Facebook gaming?
Of course, real estate couldn't work because you'd have to find a house bigger than Gabe Newell.
I'm quite happy at the moment with
that's an impossibility on its own.
Valve and hardware. I already have a Valve console. I call it my PC.
I call it my Steam account. Yay!
Yeah.
Which is now tethered to my PS3 for some fucking reason.
Ooh.
I mean, do they give any sort of reason why they're doing this, or is this just, hey, well, guess what we're doing?
They did. They said we'd like to. They said they're disappointed in where the hardware market is heading. That they're not taking advantage of technology and they're not pushing technology forward.
No, they seem to be taking advantage of customers instead of technology.
This is true.
This is very, very true.
I mean, they do have a point, but that's just code for we're greedy, we want some more money, give it to us.
Well, but I mean, the time for this knight in shining armor shit was like a year and a half ago.
If
so
Valve want to give it a go, I don't see any reason why not. Let them have a punt at it.
Yeah, but it's like EA deciding, oh, we're going to release a console. You have to have the Origin service just to use it. You have to have an online connection just to use it. Oh, by the way, all the games are download only. Yay!
I know, but
pretty much
look at it.
Box is going to be, whatever they're going to fucking call it.
But they're getting involved now, which is a lot like leasing an office in a building that is about to be condemned.
To be quite honest, this fucking gaming market's fucking condemned at the moment.
Well, that's part of it too. So I hope they do well.
It could be interesting in a couple of years down the line to see if things have shifted from people doing the PS3, Xbox 360 debate to the Ouya versus Steambox debate, maybe.
Yeah.
Steambox. That reminds me of a girl I knew in high school. Anyway.
There is one thing I'm worried about with this thing. What's it going to look like? Is it going to look like a fucking porthole cover or something? You got big fucking
look like an iPod dock.
you're going to put a disc inside your Valve box. You got to turn this fucking wheel on the top just to open the fucking lid. Whoop, there we go. Put the game in, and then you have to turn it round, and then then to turn it on, you've got like this old nautical fucking communication thing. You go right, turn the console on, cling, cling, and then
one of those little wheels you used to have to turn on the front of cars. Just bend down there and fucking...
And this one you actually have to submerge in water, but it has to go down like 5,000 feet in order to create the right pressure to push in the power switch, right?
Yeah, and then it gets hit by an iceberg and sinks. There we go.
Well, that's always good news. But, so Valve hardware, that's...
Alf, have you anything to add to this?
Yeah, what do you think?
Pretty much all my opinions on it is it'll boil down to Ouya versus the Steam box, and Steam is big enough that it could warrant its own machine, but it's not really necessary because most people have PCs, and most PCs are more than capable of handling most of the things that are on Steam, at least at minimal requirements. So I really just find it to be kind of pointless, because then it'll be like, well, it doesn't do enough. All right, let's overload it with apps. And let's give it a bunch of other features. At the end of the day, you already have a PC. Fuck it. It's unnecessary and unneeded. So, yeah, I don't think that they should really jump into the market, but that's just my opinion.
But if they jump in... I was going to say, if they jump into a market where there's the Nintendo fucking Wii U coming out, they've got Xbox are working on a new console, fucking Sony are working on a new console. If they release when there's that fucking shitstorm happening, then there's the Ouya to consider. Then they've got this, what we're going to call it, the Valve box, the V box, the SD box, whatever you want to fucking call the damn thing. It's a bad time. It's going to turn back into like the mid to late 90s where everybody had a console out at one point or another. And it's just going to be silly. Might as well just keep it as simple and as easy as possible. Keep Valve games on a PC.
I'm curious how they're going to sell it.
Well,
really.
here's
what
the
can
other
you possibly
thing.
say?
If you look at like this, look at how many people already have Steam and are on it frequently, if not daily. So why would they want an additional machine to do what they're already doing right now?
Plus, a lot of people that I know use Steam for the fact that they can use a mouse and keyboard with their games. They don't want to switch to a console.
And the last time we had a mouse on a fucking games console was the Dreamcast. And how many games?
No, there's actually there's a mouse on the 360, isn't there? There's a attachment.
Yeah, but what are you going to use it for?
Well,
probably for MMOs.
You can hook it up to PS3 as well.
But you don't use it.
That's right. There was one for Command and Conquer. That's right.
Yeah, they also had it for Unreal Tournament 3 whenever that came out, so you could have the keyboard and mouse set up. And somebody told me that you can use it for the browser, but I've never been able to confirm that, so I have no clue if that's true or not.
You can barely use the keyboard for the browser on the PS3, and I'm not sure what it's like on the Xbox 360, but it's fucking Internet Explorer, so it's bound not to work.
We don't have a browser on 360 yet.
No, but when it does, is it going to work?
The main
Probably
thing,
not.
though, is that people argue that, oh, well, the Steam box is pretty necessary because it'd be nice to be able to play things on my TV. And here's the thing. Right now, I'm doing this podcast in front of a desktop that's hooked up to my TV.
Yep,
I
most
mean, you
decent
can hook up-
graphics cards have HDMI.
Yeah, you can hook all your computers up to your TVs now. You can hook your laptops up to your TV. You can even hook a fucking tablet and a phone up to a TV. So it's not really necessary. And the thing is, they'll be spreading themselves so fucking thin because it's like, okay, you're competing against Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. Okay, the Ouya's coming out. Okay, you have to go against them. Up on Live, which is still alive and kicking. Ha ha ha.
Or so we've been
you know,
told.
Yeah, apparently with quotation marks and whatnot, and underlining that a couple times. But, you're competing against that as well. And then on top of that, you're competing against handhelds. So the 3DS, the Vita, and you're competing against all phones. You want to jump into this mix? No, it's already crowded. Way too fucking crowded.
That's my point.
And they're competing against themselves because
Yeah.
Steam is the PC gaming platform.
Yep. So
It's a
then
console killer.
Yeah,
You wanna-
right.
they would
No,
have-
Origin! What are you talking about? Come on, guys.
No. Mobile is the console killer. You didn't know that? Well, because that one guy said that one time. Alpha Omega Sin, can you tell me something? Doesn't our podcast look so much better in HD?
Oh, absolutely. A beautiful 1080p HD because, you really need to see our fucking ugly mugs that much more.
Like no other podcast in the world. Anyway, that was a very spirited conversation about an abortion, I guess.
Might as well
We got another piece of mail. We're talking about Saint Magnus brought this up, and I wish he hadn't. But Final Fantasy 13-3 has been announced. Saint
Actually, I
Magnus,
didn't bring it up.
you didn't bring it up. Who made me talk about this?
Yeah, that would be my bad.
Yeah, that
Damn you! You explain it.
it's that other British guy, that people are going to get confused with.
Oh.
Basically, they turned around and said that Lightning, the main character of the first one and sort of side character in the second one, is coming back for a new adventure. Pretty much it looks like it's going to be a new game. And they were saying that what's going to set this one apart is going to be that they've got a unique idea that, and I quote them, cannot be found on the internet, is that they're going to have a real world which will have day and night and people with sort of routines and jobs and shit. And I was like, okay, so it's going to be Shenmue. And then after that they said, oh, but the twist is there's only 13 days until the world ends. I'm like, okay, so now it's Majora's Mask. It doesn't look that interesting, and they keep saying, we've got all these original ideas. It's like, no, you've got a bunch of ideas you've nicked from other games that you're mishmashing together and trying to sell as something new.
We have everybody's original ideas on one game. Booyah! Yeah, innovation, motherfucker.
Innovation's not been around since 2002.
Jesus, Razorfist thinks he's being plagiarized. Fucking hell.
No.
I know, right? No, I'd say there was a fair bit of innovation at the very beginning of this console life cycle. I had no complaints with modern gaming until about 2009. Actually, quite frankly, it was actually really promising for a while. But yeah,
You know what's
Put it
kind of
this way.
ironic? Is that around 2009 is really when a lot of our channels started. That's kind of weird. Oh.
Mine was 2011.
But with this as well, you can tell that Final Fantasy really has to be going for the death throes now, because usually we get these huge worlds and you get to explore an entire globe and yada yada yada. This time they're like, it's such a huge and expansive environment. You get a total of 4 connected islands.
Whoa, 4 as
Oh,
opposed
yeah.
to 1?
it's because they're rushing it out because they want money. It's what it is. They're rushing it the fuck out. It has a little over a year development cycle, I
Yeah.
think.
Jesus.
See, all it is it's 13. It's all the stuff that they made while doing 13.2, but they're like, fuck it, let's just take all this and say it's a separate game. Cool, all right, because people hate DLC, so we won't make a DLC. It'll just be a separate game.
No,
And
we
so
don't
what
make an
should have
add-on.
been the logical midpoint of the game will slap a big old to be continued on 13.2.
oh, hey, and fanboys will then go and say, no. How dare you say that this is terrible? It's actually a good thing. We can't give you legitimate reasons why, but, yep, sucking that big old dick. Enjoying it.
When I made that video saying that the Mass Effect 3 ending is terrible, but not as big of a slap in the face as the 13-2 ending, the amount of fanboys I had trying to defend 13-2 to their last was pathetic.
Shameless plug. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
So, it was relevant, at the very least.
It was.
Yes. But it was just
Would you guys knock it out with the polite contest already?
a bit more relevant than 13-3. Or whatever they're going to fucking call it. Lightning Adventures.
Well, they were just sitting there like, oh no, it's such a good ending because what it does is da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, no, what it is it does to the ending of 13-2 what the start of Chrono Cross does to the ending of Chrono Trigger. They just slap that shit right in there instead of waiting for the start of the next game.
Bastards.
I flat out... Can we really tolerate Lightning, the beacon of personality, for another fucking game, really?
It's a
Can't
female
we?
squall, that's it.
That's a
She
female
reminds
cloud.
me of like the
what it
one
is.
lesbian I know. That's what Lightning reminds me. Every time I look at her, I'm like, hey, it's that one lesbian chick I know.
Oh, man. But she's just so... They admitted, Square Enix admitted that they drew her first. The concept artist drew her first, then decided what her story was after the fact. This is how Square Enix makes Final Fantasy games now, people. They draw the characters first so they can sell the necklaces that they're going to wear on the fucking Squeenix website. And then they decide what the story is.
I thought their like character development process involved a dartboard.
Normally.
It does.
Okay, so I just hit a 20, that's Cloud's angst. Let's throw another dart, that's a 6, so that's Squall's angst. So we've got angst and angst.
RPG humor here on the Hate-Bit Podcast.
Yes, and not a lot of people are understanding that because they're too busy playing around with their Call of Duties.
Oh, well, that's what they do. Anyway, Final Fantasy 13-3, what say everyone?
No.
See, no one even wanted to say anything.
Nobody
I'll
cares.
probably end
That's
up
gonna say,
buying
there's
it anyway.
just-
You'll probably
Honestly,
end up buying it.
There's really no reason for the game to even continue going on, especially when everybody's been clamoring for Type 0 versus sequels and remakes of other titles within the storied fucking franchise. But hey, at least we got a third one in one of the worst selling and worst received Final Fantasies of the whole franchise. So yay or something.
Oh, don't forget we've got that HD remake of Final Fantasy X with the inevitable 10-2 fucking remake that they're gonna do.
Oh, yes.
Final Fantasy VII PC re-release that has the god-awful achievements.
Oh, and
Yes.
Versus, which has been in development since before the PS3 was released. So.
And may or may not have been cancelled, according to conflicting reports.
Yeah, well,
But they can't make their minds up, so...
Yeah. So, anyways.
Moving on.
You know what? Everyone's all just fucking depressed about this, as am I. So
Cheer us up then, boy. Come on.
cheer us up then? Well, I'm going to cheer you up because that's what I do. I, the mighty OK, I'm in charge of...
Dick jokes, yeah. We
Drive the
Yo.
hate-bit train straight into dick jokesville.
No, if
Come
you
on.
want dick jokes, you're going to have to turn your browsers to retroware.tv. But, get out of my face.
Get somebody go, Retro's wedding.
Watch, he's going to edit it out and put in thatguywiththeglasses.com. Anyway, you know what? We're getting towards the end of the podcast, It's time for my favorite part. It's time for your favorite part. It's time for the great big fat rant. The rant was not with us last week. And so we got a big special rant from our big special guest, Mr. Afro-Blue. What are you ranting about today?
Well, now I feel fat. You
That's
just
'cause
called
you-
me big.
Yeah, it's Afro. You're sure you didn't read Jim Sterling instead of Afro Blue?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
Jim Sterling is like summoning fucking Meteor in a Final Fantasy. It's just BAM! Down on top of someone.
No, that's just the shit crust he picks out from behind his fingernails after he's fingered his own fucking
I
ass.
wasn't talking to Jim Sterling because I didn't say anything about it creamy filling.
This is true. But game developers done fucked up. And they've done fucked up for about 10 years now. The past week and a half, I finally had a Super Nintendo, having grown up on Sega consoles. And playing those Super Nintendo games, more of a thrill, more excitement, more fucking engaging than anything I have played new in the last 10 years. In fact, they actually assume I have some base intelligence and some sort of a fucking attention span. I am sick to death of the hand-holding. We are going to show you what every fucking button does on screen. We are going to solve the puzzles for you. In fact, fuck it, just sit back, watch some cutscenes. We're not even going to put gameplay in here anymore. What the fuck happened to, we are just going to throw you in, you will figure it out on your own, it will be fun, there will be boss battles, because what the fuck happened to those? Seriously, what happened to a good boss?
Yeah.
It's just, if I have more motivation to play games that are 15 to 20 years old, as opposed to games that came out, 2 months ago, where did we go wrong? Everywhere, probably, but...
Everywhere, absolutely.
Don't tell me you're finished already, boy. Come on. You must have something else to gripe about.
Oh, you're going to need to edit this together then, aren't you?
Oh.
It's fucking Mega Man X, for example. Mega Man X drops you in, bam, here's an enemy, it's coming along the floor. You don't jump, you get hit. You will learn through trial and fucking error. Fucking, if they made that today, you'd be running along and it'd be a case of, oh look, here's an enemy, you better press A to jump. Fucking Mario. Oh, here's a flute. Do you know what a flute does? It's like, for Christ's sake, let us just play with these things. We get that there are certain, A is jump in every single game. We don't need to be told that. It's like now, modern games, hold left trigger to aim, right trigger to shoot. Stop fucking telling us that. We know. We know because we don't have fucking brain tumors.
What about a game you said was that you were actually, you weren't really an apologist for it, but you regarded it in a slightly more favorable fashion than most. Mass Effect 3. The first fucking thing the game tells you is if you push your thumbstick forward, you can move.
That's pretty much every fucking game since, 1998 when the...
I mean, that's terrifying that it's come to that point.
Yeah, you're sort of looking at the thing like, the fuck do I do? It's like...
derp.
Yeah, every game these days is now a goddamn Judd Apatow movie where every last fucking detail has to be explained in order for you to, I don't know, think this somehow applies to you.
They think the player is Matt Damon.
Don't forget the Nintendo Super Guide where it can tell you every single little thing to do, and if you opt to, you can just skip that entire section of the game because it was just too rough to play.
Whoa.
And you want to know what? And any fucking yokels that are going to defend this, I assure you, 100 fucking %, if you buy something that you are playing, okay, you're playing this, and all you're going to do is skip portions of the game, then you are buying it for all the wrong reasons. That's like, I don't know, buying a book and then skipping chapters because you're like, meh. Chapters 4 through 6 aren't really worth much of shit. All right, now I'm near the end of the book. That's what I'm talking about. It's all retarded at the end of the day.
And he shot her in the face. The end.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that was a great story. Very riveting.
Can you imagine as well, like, if we applied modern game design to older games, like you're fucking running through Sonic 2, you pick up your first ring, it's like, hey, this is a ring! If you get touched by an enemy, you lose your rings. If you get touched again and you don't have any rings, you die. And if someone touches you in a way or a place that you don't want them to, that's no good.
Prime example of that is Omochow on every single Sonic game since fucking Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, and Sonic Generations now having big old warning signs to say, if you fall down this bottomless pit, you die.
Holy shit, I thought that's where I got my extra lives and all my bonus points.
Yeah, I thought
fuck
that.
off.
No.
Yay!
At which point did they sort of sit down? Because, fuck, they gave me more credit when I was a child. Now...
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how... and now as you're an adult, they almost mock you. Like, you bought this game, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're going to use the Sonic games for an example, right? Ever since Sonic Adventure came out, you magically got all the emeralds, and then you played Super Sonic at the end. You play Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, you have to work your pants off to get to get supersonic on Sonic 3.
And then you can use them anywhere.
Yeah, you can use them anywhere in the game, and you never got to use them at the end of the game because if you got the true ending on Sonic 3, that is, you got to use them at the end of the game, but you never got to use them.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles Doomsday Zone, that started the trend. I loved Doomsday Zone at the time, but it started the fucking trend.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But
one of the things that go.
It seems that every single special fucking thing that you used to work for on a game now is, yeah, you'll get to that eventually, but you just have to finish these few levels, and then we'll just give it to you. Fuck working your ass off just to enjoy, a proper nice power up to kill things.
Yeah,
no,
you don't have to do anything for the rewards anymore. Like, I remember old Nintendo Official magazine, there was an interview with some of the guys who did Ocarina of Time, and they said to them quite bluntly, usually later on in old games suck, and endings for games suck. Why don't you put any effort into later dungeons or the endings? And they just turned around and said, because 90% of our player base never reach it. The solution to that was not to make everything so fucking simple that everyone can reach it within 2 hours. Or allow you to skip something if it's just too hard.
No, they all moan because it's just too hard.
The thing is, if that's just too hard, and then you're progressing to the next stage of the game, what do you think that's gonna be?
And you don't appreciate shit when it's just handed to you, in general. You spend $60. I mean, you should get $60 worth of game.
Oh, yeah.
But people don't want that. That's the problem. People don't want that sort of thing. People, for some reason, would like to pat themselves on the back because they beat a video game. I'm sorry, Junior, that's not an accomplishment. That's entertainment.
Yeah.
Can you remember the days when you used to get to a boss fight and you used to be like, oh shit, I am stuck on this guy, and it'd be sort of a week, maybe 2 weeks, and eventually you'd just be like, yes, fucking nailed it, move on, sense of accomplishment. Now...
Do you remember a time when you played a game and you actually had to, play it or ask somebody as opposed to just look it up on the internet?
I remember when you used to go to school and you were swapping cheats with your friends.
That was, yeah! What happened to that?
I know.
Here's the thing
or you'd get that one badass friend who'd showed up to class and he had the cheat book.
And you worship
Black magazine, and this guy for that week was just king shit of Turd Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was in middle school, we were all having Tomb Raider for the first time round, and it was on the Colosseum level, and I just casually, because my teacher played as well, I just said to him casually, oh yeah, I beat the Colosseum level last night. He's just like, where the fuck is the exit for that thing? I'm like, oh, well, over here there's a block that you have to pull back, and then that reveals a little passageway you go through, and it's just like, fucking thank you. That never happens anymore. Those moments.
Dude, the thing that sucks is most people's counter-argument, nowadays at least, if you bring up any of the things that we are bringing up right now, like if this conversation was just had in front of, some of the people that are, have a different opinion of it.
A live studio audience.
Yeah, they're like, it's just because you guys grew up on those things and you just don't like new stuff. You can't adapt. You just want things to stay the same, blah, 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 blah. And the only response, genuinely, that I can tell you is I want you to sit down with two similar style games, okay, from like the NES or 16-bit era, and then something modern. Play them back to back, and then tell me which one you felt more accomplished with defeating. Which one that you feel like, man, I actually had a really good time playing through that. And not that bullshit of, oh, well, I just quit the game because it was too fucking hard and not worth playing. And I played the other one and had way more fun because it wasn't so difficult and shitty. Because that's just an excuse. That's a lazy excuse.
That's a good point, that, because they always say that if the game's hard, it's shit. That's how they've always said it, for years and years and years. And I can see Yell Chaos, he's going purple at the moment because he wants to say something. Go for it.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I do this really stupid fucking thing. I read the comments on YouTube. You've heard about this before. And I cannot believe these goddamn shitwits that actually have the brass nerve to say, well, I just can't play a game with graphics like that. Like, what? Is there a picture on the screen? Well, yeah. Then what's the fucking problem?
Hell, Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo looks better than half the modern shit I play.
It does! It still looks amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
right now that I just plain cannot play. A game with a blindfold on. If I can see it, I can play it. And if you can't, there's something wrong with you, bro.
And there's something to appreciate in the simplicity of some of those graphics as well. Like, you go back to Master System NES era, where they literally had, say 3 colors per object on screen. And you just think, Christ, what they were able to actually depict with those limitations, because they're working on like a 320 by 240 screen resolution. And it's like, fuck me, that's amazing. And
Dude, you know what blows me away? The fucking cutscenes on Ninja Gaiden on NES. Holy
yes.
fuck. Those are impressive.
Oh, yeah. On that machine, that very limited machine.
That's the thing. It's the clever use of the system. Look at Super Street Fighter 2.
You know what's
look
causing
at
it?
that, it's fucking beautiful.
It's terrible over here in Britain. I'm not sure if it's the same thing in the US right now, but we have this mollycoddling fucking culture here, which says nobody's a loser, and if someone comes last place in a race, they're not a loser anymore. No, they were the last winner.
Okay, wait, here's something you don't understand. You guys have that because we gave it to you.
So it is probably worse for you guys then.
What it's called? It's called the Health and Safety Act 1976.
You can't play Conkers without some fucking goggles on in case you whack yourself in the eye. That was half the fun.
No, it's actually a full fucking suit of armour nowadays.
Shit.
Yeah.
This whole thing of, we're fucking setting these people up to not know what failure is. And never know how to overcome it, and that's bleeding into video games, because now, oh no, we can't tell little Johnny that he's lost, we're just going to pop him back just before the jump he missed, instead of making him restart the entire fucking level and learn, because it might hurt his feelings.
And you know why? Because they're making video games for everyone, and not just for a particular audience.
Well, that's the thing.
Mass appeal. Everybody should be able to pick this up, and everybody should be able to enjoy it. From a fucking 3-year-old up to his grandparents or great-grandparents if they're still alive and kicking. Everybody should be able to play it without any kind of recourse.
And I think that's the part that's missing. They make games for everybody, but the fact remains, everybody, if you pay attention, are fucking stupid.
Yep.
Let's not confuse the issue, though. There are some exceptions to the rule. There are difficult games, and I'm not just talking about the games that clearly, get their rocks off to being difficult, and that's their whole claim to fame, Demon Souls. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about games like even Grand Theft Auto. There are times in Grand Theft Auto where it's hard to progress forward because the shooting is what it is and because the enemies don't miss much. Deus Ex Human Revolution is kind of hard. If you fuck up in Deus Ex Human Revolution, it will fuck your shit. But it's not like...
I will definitely attest that Deus Ex is a fucking rough-ass game. Because it kicked the shit out of me quite a few times. And I was like, no, I will keep going. Huzzah.
And even, I would say even Dead Space 1 had some very challenging parts. Not so much 2, but
2 was a fucking walkthrough. Literally, it held your hand and took you through the entire game. It's like, go from this point to this point. You don't have to do any fetching and carrying. Just go from this point to this point. Not like the first game.
Has anyone seen Egoraptor's Sequelitis? He does an episode on the opening level of Mega Man X, how it was then, how it would be today, and that is fucking fantastic for the point we're trying to get across.
Yes. But what happened to games actually fucking taunting you if you fucked up? Sonic 1, perfect example. If you didn't collect all the Chaos Emeralds, you got Robotnik laughing at you, juggling what emeralds you missed.
Oh yeah, he's just like, these are mine, bitch!
These are mine, bitch, play it again.
It's going to get to the point where you'll be playing, say, Street Fighter 7. Let's just, go forward a few years. You're playing Street Fighter 7, and the winner only taunts if they're the player. If the computer wins, it doesn't show the taunt, it just cuts straight back to the next round.
No, it's a fucking pillar fight. That's all it is, it's a fucking pillar fight.
With the sock'em boppers, inflatable gloves, is that what you're doing there?
At the end of the fight, naturally, your opponent will help you up and then powder your ass, and then you sit down and have a couple fucking snacks together.
The thing is, let's say we've got kids, being brought up on these new games with no sense of failure and no sense of ever overcoming failure. And also going through the school system and everything else with the, oh, you're a winner, you're a winner. What happens when they get to 26 and their boss comes up to them and just says, clear your desk out and fuck off, you suck?
But
Yeah.
I thought I sucked. I sucked the best or something. Wait,
Don't I get it?
how-
Trophy
that's
for
what
being
she
the
said.
best sucker?
You're the best sucker. Oh, boy. Yeah, so in conclusion, I think it's safe to say that everybody, you're a bunch of fucking pussies. Thank you.
And-
Yes.
Quit being pussies.
Quit being pussies. And you know what? It's
And
happened
stop
again.
making excuses for this shit as well.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well,
But you know
there
what?
is one thing I can say that Razorfist will probably like this. Like I keep saying, he's stuck in 1986. In terms of gaming, go back to 1986 because that's when some of the hardest games that ever to be made came out. So
Yes.
there we go.
The best games
1996
ever.
in that case though was a pile of shite.
No, there was a few
2000,
good games.
2006, 2006 can blow my fucking ass, and there we go. Back to the 80s. Fuck
Are
it.
you noticing a pattern here?
Yeah,
There's
we're,
even
we're
like the
going full
comparison
circle.
between, like, you go to the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on PS1, and you try and set a high score even anywhere near the scores you can get on the HD remake, it's never gonna happen, because even then they're like, oh, we'll give you a little bit of slack on the HD remake.
Fuck that. Slow down code on the original Tony Hawk's. That's just great fun. Where 2 minutes lasts like 15 years. 15
Wait a minute.
years.
Wait. Now you're advocating cheat codes. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, but cheat codes was like, you finish the game and then you think, fuck it, I'm going to have fun, and you put big head mode and slow down mode and...
And then those
Fucking-
disappeared along with boss battles and all the other things we used to enjoy.
You know,
Yeah.
when I think of big head mode, and because of what we were talking about the other podcast, is big head mode makes me think of GoldenEye, and GoldenEye on the hardest difficulty was an unforgiving motherfucker.
Absolutely.
And then there was its censored mode where you got paintball guns instead of real guns.
I still quite like the old hardest mode, Natalia just trying to hack into that fucking computer, you know, the big room with the two staircases, and she's just like, cover my back for me and make sure I don't die. And you're like, fuck my life, while trying to save her.
Fuck you, bitch, you die, I want to stay alive.
There you go. Well, you know what,
Goddamn
gang?
Russians.
It happened again. You guys have wasted another perfectly good, like 10, 11 hours listening to the Hate-Bit podcast.
It's
And
taken
we
11
think-
hours to fucking make the thing.
I know, it's just amazing. You know, they're going to have to piece this together, and, you know, there's, like, going to be pictures of me on a bridge, you know. But we hope you enjoy our new title card, and we hope you're enjoying Season 2 so far. So we'd like to thank our esteemed guest, Mr. AFR0BLU3. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're not.
You guys-
I'm
And
joking.
joining me, as always, was the awe-inspiring Alpha Omega Sin.
It's kind of ironic because on the Pokemon anime, the whole tagline was "Gotta catch 'em all," and Ash only caught 43 of the Pokemon. It's fucking bullshit and a complete lie. That's all.
The rousing Razor Fist.
Remember, folks, as per my earlier rant, Metal Gear Solid causes testicular cancer. And the only cure is playing more Thief. God fucking speed.
The sensational Sainted Magnus.
And as a counter-argument, don't play Splinter Cell.
And yeah,
We're still
we're
at it. We're going to be at it for the next fucking 5 podcasts or whatever.
Yeah, we're united on this podcast. Anyway, I am
Yeah,
the mighty
we're united.
Chaos. Thank you for joining us. You guys have been great, and we have been the Hate-Bit Podcast. See ya!
See ya, boys.